Well, good morning, fellow anglers. Day 2, back out on Lake Natoma. Same time, it's 9 a.m. We pretty much got the same conditions as yesterday. It's a little bit breezy. Gorgeous, gorgeous morning. The water's awesome. Same temperature as yesterday, 55 degrees. And I'm gonna start today in the same area as yesterday. Just gonna go there really quickly and kind of do some blind casting. There's some other big ones roaming around. We start here this morning before I head out across the lake and look for some other protected spawning areas. And today I brought the chesty out. I brought it yesterday but forgot this little nut, and so I couldn't attach it. I want to be able to give you a angler's view of what I'm casting at, so when I'm talking you through the particulars of what I'm fishing in that area, I'll give you a couple different views, make it that much more awesome for you to get the information you need to come out here and reproduce some of the tactics that I'm using out here. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna stop talking, and later on today I'm also gonna be giving you some tips on how to bed fish, what I look for. We're gonna talk about tackle towards the end, but kind of what I look for, some tactics, what to wear, how to get these fish fired up, or even how sometimes to tell if a fish is ready to go or if it's not going to be locked on. Just some tactics and tips to help you shorten that learning curve when it comes to bed fishing, because it does take some practice and some time on the water to perfect your techniques. So let's get fishing. Let's see if we can put some more big ones, not in the boat, but on the paddle board. All right, let's go. Sunglasses, good sunglasses that are polarized. Polarized sunglasses are going to help reduce the glare in the water and help you see down into the water and see those beds easier. So that's job number 1. You got to have polarized glasses. Number 2, try not to wear bright colors. Right now I'm wearing a blue shirt, tan shorts, and when a fish looks up at me, it kind of looks like I'm part of the sky and the surrounding weeds. So try to wear some clothing that is not loud, not weird colors. Try to match your environment to help you be a little more stealthy. Okay, next tip. Try to come into the area, whether you're on a boat, paddleboard, or kayak, as stealthy as possible. Be quiet. If you've got a boat and you can use power poles to lock yourself in place, that is the best scenario. Otherwise, you're going to have to use your trolling motor to have to keep yourself on the spot, and a lot of times, depending on if the wind is blowing or if there's current, it can blow you right up, it can get you right over the bed. You end up having to hit the trolling motor, you kick up dirt or noise, and it's going to be really, really tough for you to catch fish that way. So if you got a way to anchor yourself, that's cool. What I've been doing is trying to push this little stand-up paddleboard in a spot where the wind will blow me up against the bank or a lay-down tree of some sort, so I'm not having to keep repositioning the boat. Yesterday was a little bit tough. I did find a couple spots where it could blow me into an area where I could stay on the fish for a little bit. So, boat position is key. Another key is you're making your cast. Don't take your cast and throw it right on top of the bed. Make a cast and you're going to throw whatever you're going to throw. It makes a big splash. Depending on how spooked the fish are, landing the bait right on top of their head is not ideal. You're going to spook those fish. They're going to be on high alert. Take your cast, throw it as far as 3-4 feet past their bed. Maybe even if you have enough room, a little longer, and then drag that bait into that bed. Be a little more stealthy. Surprise them. So that tip, make long casts past the bed. Another tip, watch their behavior. So when you throw your bait in there, watch what the fish does. Does it just run off as soon as it gets in there and doesn't come back for a minute or two? That fish may not be catchable yet. They're little, they maybe just made that bed, they're a little spooked still, they're not in a protect mode. If the fish sees your bait and turns right around, nose down on it, and starts flaring those gills, you can probably catch that fish. It's protecting, it's interested in what you've got going, put on its bait or its bed, and it's ready to attack it and get it out of there. It does not want it in there. Twitch it a little bit, see what they do. Watch that behavior. Sometimes they might get off the bed and just go a foot off and then come right back down to it. So watch the fish, their behavior, and then figure out your tactics. If it leaves and doesn't come back for a while, go find a different bed. But if it's there and staying and locked on, try to work that fish. And maybe if they don't bite it or they just look at it and you're not getting them agitated, try different bait. You know, if you got a jig, throw a jig in there. If you got a drop, throw a worm in there. Throw a little swim bait in there, mix it up. You just never know what's going to get that fish hot and hit that attack button. So rotate through your baits if you have multiple baits. Today, I don't. I got the drop shot with a debut stinger, I got a little Kitech swim bait, and then I have my big giant swim bait to try to get them fired up. You got limited space on a stand-up paddleboard. I could probably throw some different baits in my box, tackle bag, but it gets too crazy. You're trying to retie. Maybe if you threw a swivel on there, something, a snap ring, like a snap ring so you can swap out baits really fast, that's an option. So I'm comfortable with these baits. I know I can catch them on these. I've done it in the past, so they're my confidence bait. So I know I can catch fish using these baits. Okay, I'm gonna take a break from those tips. I'm gonna talk about something else and a quick status report. I paddled a long way from right across from where that cove is. Went down the west side of the lake and to some areas that are some big flat rocks on them that I know about, and I didn't see a single bass anywhere on that entire stretch. And here's why I think why. I think it's just too cold on the main lake still. 1 or 2 degrees makes a huge difference in the bass habitat and triggers them when they can get up there and spawn. And they need that warm water for those eggs to incubate. You need the sun, you need the water warm. So what I'm thinking is we're only going to find them in these coves. Excuse me, these coves. All right, these coves protected from the wind for the most part, shallower water, so they're going to warm up faster. So here's what you're looking for on your lake or your body of water. Time of the year, of course, this is the right time of the year. Warming trends and water temps to go up. Now, water temps can be relative to where you live and what lake you're fishing. This lake, 55 degrees, if it goes to 58, that's going to trigger a change in the bass habitat. What else are you looking for? Backwaters, places that are protected from current, places that are protected from wind. Most of the bigger bass, for the most part, are going to spawn in the deepest part of the water that they can because they want to feel safe and comfortable. These flats you're looking for should be adjacent to where they were in the winter, which would be a deep water access area adjacent to it. That way they don't have to travel very far. They're going to travel from the deepest part of the lake that's closest to a flat. Now, what are you looking for on the flats? They need hard bottom. So it can be rocks, pea gravel, shells. I've seen them spawn on tires, seen them spawn on cars. As long as it's hard and they can clean it off, that's where they'll spawn. You'll see them also even in an area that's got a lot of vegetation in it, they'll fan out an area and remove all that vegetation if there's rocks underneath that vegetation as well. So that's kind of what I'm searching for out here. Well, it's exactly what I'm searching for. And right now, I'm gonna focus on the coves only, especially when I saw that there was nothing going on the main lake as far as spawning behavior. So, I'm almost here to this cove. I'm gonna cruise around and look, and then see if any of them in here are on some beds, and try to put a few in the boat today on day number 2 of our outing here on Lake Natoma. All right, here we go. Stay tuned. I'm gonna do a little scouting. Oh, I got him. I got him. I got him. Oh, I got him. Yep. I got him. I got him. I'm on the drop shot. Oh shit. Got my front rod. Uh-oh. That's not good. That is not good. I shouldn't have put that rod. I shouldn't have put that rod there. Now I'm in big trouble. That is a total rook move. Crap. Oh my gosh. That was a total rookie maneuver. I had my rod sitting out front, the one I was using to flip at it, and this thing just went right into the bait hanging down. Total rookie maneuver. But I still got him in the boat. A nice little 2-pounder. Like I said, he was sitting right there. I cruised up. There's a stick-up piece of wood over here, and I saw him on there, and then he didn't spook off. I went around, and just like I said before on the tips, I watched his behavior. He never left. He went a couple feet off, watched me, and then he came right back to that spot. He actually hasn't even made a bed there yet. Look at that one. That's a nice one. Hasn't even made a bed yet. Let me get him in the water, and then we'll talk about it. All right, nice fish. Okay, just released that one back in the water. I don't like to keep him out of the water while I'm going over what we had just done. So, yeah, so he was on. I watched him circle around, and then I threw. He saw me throwing in the swim bait, and then he was chasing it. So I knew that he was guarding. He was already in that mode. And then the first cast with this drop shot on this little Damiki stinger with a little chartreuse tip on it. First cast, picked it up, got him. So that was fun. So this is that cove I was talking about. I came in here, I saw 3 bass as I circled around. The only issue in here is there are a lot of carp. It's really flat back way in there, and it's really weeded up, and I don't expect to see any bass out there because this is where the deep water is, over here by the channel and towards the middle, the openings of the cove. So they're going to come up from there, find a place to spawn, and then head right back out. That one found a tree and some rocks, some big chunky rocks down there, and that's where it's setting up its bed. And I just spotted him, had to get the boat around a couple times because the wind spun me. And then I pulled a complete rookie maneuver. So don't do this. I left my flipping bait out in the front of the boat with it sticking out about that much of line on it. And sure enough, the bass went right underneath it, and then the bait spun around the line that I had the fish on. And so that could have been disastrous if that was a really big fish. Could have broken a rod, I could have lost a fish, and a bunch of different things could have happened. So that was stupid. So from now on, I'm just gonna reel that back in and put it back in the middle. And even if it takes me a little extra second to get it out, I was leaving it out there because I wanted it to go back and forth and it's a little bit quicker, but I didn't think that fish was gonna eat it that fast, so that was dumb. So learn from my mistakes, don't do that. Whether you're on a stand-up paddleboard, a kayak, or whatever, keep your fishing area clear of any other rods and tackle that the bass can actually get wound up on the line or screw up your retrieve or your reel in, whatever you want to say, because then you can end up losing a fish. So I saw some more fish around the corner, not as big as that one, But I'm gonna keep looking around on this island right here to see if there's any more out there trying to make beds. That was fun. That was the first fish of the day. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Okay, I got a little one over here, but he's following me around. Might as well see what happens when I throw my bait in at him. He's not very big. Maybe a pound. I don't think he's on a bed though, but he's kind of guarding this area. Fish are still fun to catch regardless of what size they are. So let me toss this drop shot in there. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. He's on this big rock. I'll throw it way past him. I'm gonna swim it up towards him and put it right on top of this big rock and see what he does. Oh, he went right after it. He did not like that. He does not want this in his domain. Did he grab it? He bit at it for a second. No, he does not like it. He's catchable. He does not like this in there. He nipped at it a couple times. All right, let's catch him for fun. So he's just in this same little shallow area. Most of these fish that are bedding up are closer to the main channel or the main lake. They're not very far back. It's because a lot of carp in there, and this has got much easier access to the deep water. So our big ones are going to be coming up from that deep water. Here he is. There he is. Oh, he had it in his mouth. Get it, little guy. Get it. Oh, shoot, look out. I'm moving off of it again on the boat, on the stand-up paddleboard. I can't see him. I got to reposition again. That's the one thing that gets frustrating about this is just the littlest of movements. I mean, there's no wind blowing right here, but I can't get this paddleboard to stay exactly where I want it. Sometimes these fish have their bed and they're guarding like a 6 inch. I mean, the zone can be so small. It might be like 6 inches, and you have to get it right in that area for them really to go bananas on it. I see him now. No, he's not attacking it anymore. Oh, now I'm stuck on a rock. Oh shoot. I'm in trouble now. I got this thing stuck on the rock and I can't get it off. Oh my gosh, this little guy, he's more trouble than he's worth right now. I'm gonna have to go all the way around on the back side of this to get it off. He's not moving, so I'm not gonna spook him, but I don't wanna go right over his bed. All right, let me go get this thing. It's gonna take me an hour to get this guy now. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, just for transparency and just kind of going through the whole process, I'm gonna show you something happened. I got it stuck on that rock in there, and so I got the bait out, and the first thing I did was I started taking my fingers down this leader that I have on this, and then there's a nick about 2 inches right above where the hook is. Now, if I wouldn't have checked that and tried to go after, say, not this little one, but a big fish and really set the hook on it, it could snap right there, because now I've created a weak spot in the line. So drop shots are a pain in the butt to retie, but I'm gonna have to retie this one. So I'm gonna feel right above where the nick is. I'm gonna clip it there. Luckily, I still have about 4 feet of leader on this, and then I'm gonna retie this whole thing, and we'll have to go back in after him. So just another part of the deal. Takes some time, but you'd rather do it now and catch that big fish versus not do it and think you can get by with just and being lazy and lose a giant. So all right, we'll be back. I gotta retie this thing. One more time with the drop shot, and then we're gonna go. I think I had my chance at him early, and I want to go find a bigger fish. All right, last one, dude, and I'm gonna leave you alone. Okay, uh-oh, almost got it stuck again. We're moving on. That's a good example of sometimes these fish, they're just not that aggressive. And like I said, I probably could have got him to get more aggressive, throwing swim bait in there and really working him. But after having to retie my drop shot, reposition the boat a bunch of times, try to catch a 1.5 pounder, yeah, it's time to move on. Okay, I'm gonna call it a day. It's a little after 12 in the afternoon, and my plan is only just to come out here for a few hours at a time, catch a few fish, show you a few areas, talk about some tactics and tips on bed fishing. It's Friday. I'm gonna come back out again next week, taking the weekend off. And there's a few more coves heading towards the Spillway Dam area that I want to go check to see if the fish are back there. And so if it's anything like the 2 coves that I've already fished, I'm going to anticipate that they are, and maybe find another big one. And that cove right there, just a bunch of small males. We're up, kind of cruising in the shallows. And then that one male we caught out kind of deep at the opening. So I'm going to cruise down on this, what I'm calling the east side, but I bet the way this lake is situated, this is probably the south side and it's probably the north side. Well, it's the opposite side of where I was fishing earlier, or where I looked earlier. You know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna check down through here and see if there's any fish that happen to be up here on the bank spawning, which I highly doubt, but I might find one if all the conditions are right. So if I do, we'll pop the video back on. If I don't, we'll start on day 3 next week. All right, we'll talk to you then. Okay, so I made my way all the way back to where I started this morning. This is the least amount of wind I've had in the last, well, today's the 2nd day. And there's a pair right on this rock over here. And I'm gonna see, they're not very big. Female's a couple pounds. That was a terrible cast. Terrible. Okay, so what I've been doing for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes, the wind died down. These fish aren't super aggressive, so a trick that I use is the reason I use that big swim bait with a weighted head in it is I swim it right by them, by the fish, get it right up to them and try to just rub them and bounce it against them. They can't stand it. They get so pissed. The bigger female was snapping at it. So now I'm bringing the drop shot in there to see if she does the same thing, but this one's got a hook on it. Oh, she mouthed it. She didn't put it, and she didn't actually aggressively strike at it. She did mouth it though. I may or may not get her to go. She's a little bit aggressive, but not overly. It's still just fun to try to figure this out. I might have to rub against her a little bit more to get her really fired up. She's just not that fired up yet. Oh, yeah, I just got her. She's pretty big, she's a couple pounds. I got her though. Yep. Head up. Gotta go down though. Yep, got her. Oh, she threw it. Dang it, she came up, I let her come up and shake her head. And then that's what happens. Bummer. I had her, that was a nice fish. 2.5, 3 pounder probably. That bed's new. It wasn't there yesterday. So they'd come here either this morning or in the evening. I couldn't see it this morning because it was so windy in here. But that's a new bed. And I had her. That's gonna happen in fishing though. Oh well, that was fun. I got her to eat it. Now I'm really gonna take off. Be back out here next week. All right, talk to you then.